Hello and welcome. I'm Excellite and this is my podcast. Today I have Rob with me again, still. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
I am excited to be alive, Rob.
Same as me. You know, every day's a bonus.
I know, right? Every day is a surprise.
Every day's like a
Um,
game, like being on a game show. Every day. Some days you win, most days
it's,
you lose.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's just like that. Life is like a box of chocolates. Anyway,
God, I hate
before we
that
get
film.
started, oh, I do too, Rob. Oh no, we're gonna
We,
get some hate mail right now.
we must be the only two people that hated that film. I thought it was the biggest load of tripe ever.
I couldn't stand that movie. Madison and I just got into a conversation about it a few days ago, and she was like, "I just watched Forrest Gump again. No matter how many times I see it, I always cry." And I was like, "I cry because I'm watching Forrest Gump." Oh no.
Anyway,
Anyway, sorry about that for everybody. Lots of people who love it. I'm not one of them.
it, it,
Before we
it
get
wasn't
started, what?
it wasn't as good as Rain Man. Rain Man was better.
Rain Man was good, yeah. I
Tom
like Rain
Cruise.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was okay. My husband has seen it too many times, and he does all of Dustin Hoffman's parts. It's fun. It's good times. Good times. Okay. Again, before we get started, for the fourth time before we get started, here we go. Okay, you guys. I have to say that I have the best subs, and I really appreciate you. And if you wonder why I haven't thanked you for donating money through PayPal, it's because A, I didn't get the notification because it's a long story. And B, Rob and I didn't think that anybody would want to see us go on this road trip, so I didn't check. And I'm so sorry because you guys have been donating since early March. So please, please excuse me. I have been exceptionally rude, but mostly just ignorant. And
Nothing new there then.
I knew it. I knew it. So I would like to thank Mr. Nomad. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And Mad Meerkat is a monthly uh, subscriber. He pays monthly, and so I'll thank him while I'm thanking this group. I'd like to thank Todd Flipson. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Todd. Thank you so much. And Brian from Diabolical Witness donated quite a bit of money. And you guys, I am I called Rob, so excited.
Yeah, she did.
I said, Rob, we're getting gas money so far. We're on our
Yep.
way.
Yeah, we're nearly there.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank you so, so much. And I told you guys I would name you in a podcast, and you're probably sitting there thinking, what a jerk. Totally my bad. Completely my bad. So thank you. And for anybody else who's interested, Rob and I are gonna go. We're raising money so that we can go on a tour of the New England area and take one for the team and go see all the haunted things, which means you'll get to see me act like a child, pretty much normal, and Rob comforting me. Actually, I think it's gonna be the other way around. I think I think Rob's gonna be screaming a little bit, and so that's our plan to go see all the haunted places, and like do podcasts like and show videos of where we are, what's happening, and I I would love to do this. I would love for you guys to be part of this, and so you guys are donating money and you're going to feel like you're part of this trip, and you are. And so if you would like to donate money as well, on my homepage, if you are on a laptop or a personal computer, on the top-ish right part of the screen, it says PayPal or donate or something similar. And it's a link that YouTube has given me because a lot of my content isn't monetized because they just don't think that advertisers think I'm appropriate. I don't know why. I don't know. So if you guys would like to help support this channel and um, donate towards this fund for us to go do this fun thing, that would be so awesome. And I'll put the link in there for you guys that are on your iPads or your phones or driving down the road. And just stop, pull over, and go to that link. Make
Yep.
sure you stop first. Don't
Yep.
drive and start donating. Don't, don't. Oh, I almost choked. Karma. Anyway, I just wanted to dedicate that time right off the bat to say thank you, thank you. I love you guys. Thank you. And Rob, do you have anything
Yes,
to say
Chase.
before we start?
Don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it.
Smash it. And don't forget to subscribe and to share. Important thing is to share with your friends and people you know.
Yep. People you like, people you love, people you don't like. We don't care. And if you'd like to be notified of my content, click that bell.
Click that bell.
Click that bell. Wow. So, I'm in a mood today, Rob. It's coming. Anyway, I've been locked in my house since March 19th. So, she's getting feisty.
Are you going to tell everybody what we're doing today?
I was going to ask you if you wanted to tell people what we're going to do, or I could tell people what we're going to do, whichever.
I'll let you do it this time because I'm always steal your thunder. So,
I know.
in your own time, carry on.
Okay. All right. Here we go, people. What we're going to do is we're going to write a story. Rob and I are going to pass the story back and forth. We're going to write it. Of course, my part of the story is probably going to be much better, but shh. Please, though, please give Rob a big hand after we're done. He'll need the encouragement, and then that's what we're doing. I think it's going to be very fun. It's like a phone game, except for me and my friends used to do this on sleepovers. Did you have friends have sleepovers?
No,
No.
no.
You didn't sit
I,
around with your girlfriends and make up stories? We
I used to sit around with my girlfriends, but we definitely weren't making up stories.
we used to do this whole production where we would record it and then stop it and then figure out what comes next and figure out what we needed for background noises, and it was this whole thing. Maybe that's when I became a writer.
I've never heard of that before.
You're right, I've never told you that before.
No, I've never heard of people doing that before. I thought you was going to go down the road of sort of Chinese whispers where you all
Mm-mm.
tell each other, but no, not. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, we used to go around and each person got to tell a story, a chunk of the story, and then we'd stop it and then pass it on to the next person, and they would continue with their whatever they thought would be the next thing that could come up, which was kind of frustrating because if you were the person who started it, you already had an idea how it should go. By the fifth girl, it was like, forget it. Can't bring it around there. Guess it's gonna be scary clown again. No, we wouldn't want to do a vampire every once in a while. Scary clown. Anyway. Anyway, so I'm going to start this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm a bit nervous now.
Okay, so the way I write is I have an idea of a story. So let's say I have this idea that there's going to be a pandemic. And in this pandemic is going to be a character whose name happens to be X and Y. And at the end of it, it's going to turn out that she blah 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 blah. Her blood infected water. She blah 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 blah. Okay, and that's how I start. Now, it usually never ever goes that way. It never goes the way it's supposed to go. So I either keep the original character, or I start, but I think another character is better, or the ending has changed into something completely different, and I have to put like clues throughout the whole thing because I try to add like a little bit of a hint every now and then, so that because everybody knows that with my stories there's going to be a twist, right? And I like it when they go, "Oh, I didn't see that twist coming," because I'm like, "Yeah," because I try to put things that might show that there is going to be a twist. Well, there always is. But so, do you want to start off like that, like character, situation, ending, or we just go and balls to the wall?
Well, that's what I thought we were doing. I didn't realise it was going to be this. Obviously, it's complicated.
It's not complicated. It's artistic.
Okay. Well, I didn't
You know
realise.
how us artistic people are. We're complicated.
I didn't
Okay,
realise it
balls
was.
to the wall then.
Are you going to let me speak? Right. I didn't realise it was going to be so artistic. I thought we were just going to swap. So you were going to do the introduction, then it was me, then it was you, then it was me, then it was you, then it was me, and then it ends. You
Oh,
can
it ended
speak now.
with you.
Yeah, you can speak now.
Oh,
Oh no, 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 no,
oh,
no.
shit.
No, it doesn't
Shoot,
have to end with. It can end with you. It doesn't. I was just being backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Doesn't. I didn't mean it can't end with you. I mean it can
Uh,
end with you.
okay. That's the part you're worried about, not the part where you just said, you may speak now. That's an interesting choice. I thought I was feisty. Okay, Rob. I have not thought of a beginning. This is a cold start. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. On December 14th, 1995, Tom Jackson set off on his paper route at 4:30 in the morning, as he had done every morning for the last 6 months. Your turn.
Well, Tom, this morning didn't realise that he didn't have all the newspapers that he was going to need to complete his paper round. Over to you.
Okay. So instead of going back home and getting the papers, Tom decided to drive by, ride by on his bike, the local newspaper shop where they locally printed a tiny newspaper for a town of about 2,500 people. It got to the shop and the door was locked, which was unusual because they opened for business, started printing all night long.
It's over to me.
Over to you.
But then he noticed the town was completely empty. There was usually people out delivering milk. There was usually people out going for a run. he noticed that it was just completely dead. There was nothing. He couldn't hear any birds singing, which usually could in the morning. He couldn't hear anything. It was just a deathly silence from every corner of this little town. Over to you.
Tom would got off his bicycle, leaned it up against the wall, kicked his kickstand out, and off of his back he took his newspaper pack. He reached in and grabbed the newspaper. And what he saw confused and horrified him. There was nothing written on the paper. There were all the pages, and every single one was blank. Over to you.
So what did he do? What could Tom do? He thought, should I go home? Should I just stay around town and try and find somebody, or try and work out what's going on? So he decided that he would get home as quickly as possible and wake up his parents to try and find out and tell them what had happened, and tell them and show them the blank newspaper, and explain that he couldn't find anyone and the shop was closed, and he was starting to panic now, because he wasn't panicking before, but he was panicking now. Over to you.
So Tom got on his bike, rushed back home, and as he was almost there, the town shuddered. The houses around him shook, the ground shook, everything began to move violently. And suddenly, some snow-like substance began to fall from the sky. Over to you.
But as he was riding down and the town shook, he stopped for a second. Then he started to pedal really fast along a piece of road that he rode his bike along hundreds of times before. Then all of a sudden, the road just ended. It was just as though someone had clawed a big piece of the world away, and the road just came to this jagged edge. But so he stopped. He jumped off his bike. He carefully walked to the edge of the road and looked down, and he couldn't see the bottom. It was just this big gulf hole in the road and he didn't know what to do. Should he go back to town? Should he stay here? How was he going to get to his parents' house? Was there another way? But as far as he could see, he looked left and he looked right. There was just, even after the road had ended, everywhere there was just this big gulf, and there was nothing. He couldn't see the other side where the road started again. He just couldn't see it at all. And and I'm actually doing all that. I'm actually doing all the hand gestures as well that he was doing, and I don't know why, because there's no one in the room that can see me.
I do that when I read them. I do all the hand gestures.
So he was looking. He put his hand up to his head, and he was looking to see if he could see further. He could see further if he put his hand up to his eyes, but he couldn't. Anyway, he was stuck and he was lost and he was panicking. It's over to you.
Suddenly, the snow-like substance began to settle. Settled on his jacket, settled on the street. He brushed it out of his hair, and he heard a strange noise, almost like a child's laughter. And he looked up to the sky, And when he did, he saw one eye looking down in through glass, the eye of a child. Then his town shook again as the child laughed, and the snow like substance began to fall once again. Ba-dum-bum.
Okay. Um,
Where was he?
he was in a snow globe.
He was in a snow globe. Ah, you didn't see that coming, did you?
I thought he was going down the road of um, Silent Hill.
I've never seen that movie.
All right, okay, because it's the same kind of thing.
Oh, was it?
Well, other than the fact that it's not a snow globe, but I thought the stuff that was falling down was ash.
Oh, that was good. No. It was like that fake stuff. So he was just in a child's imagination. It was a child's imagination. All right.
Of,
I'm looking out of my the window that goes out to my balcony, and we have Christmas lights out there. There's just the white kind, so we don't look like total idiots. And and so I thought I was gonna make it go Christmassy. I think that come Christmas time, I'm gonna write that story again for real. So more in depth.
all right, so we did another one.
Well, yeah, I can tell that you're frustrated and unhappy with the ending.
When I was looking for words to use for Gulf, I looked at my map and it's got the Gulf of Mexico. So I thought I'll use the word Gulf.
That was very good, Rob. Quick on your feet.
Okay.
You didn't like that story. I'm sorry. My art isn't for everyone.
No, it was just the fact I thought that I was going to have to try and take it somewhere now. But where can you take it from there?
But
Stop doing that bleeding noise.
well, that's where you take it. But take a bow, Rob. Take a bow. All right.
Okay,
Well,
so
I thought it was kind of tricky. I kind of liked it.
it was good. It make a good story.
Yeah, I would write that down. On my notes. The hundreds and hundreds of stories I have started on my notes.
Halloween.
I know. I was just telling my husband, JD, of course, as you know, tonight that in 2 weeks I'm starting content to put away that I'm going to do. I get to put in there a scheduled date of October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, ooh, this will be so much better than giving myself 2 weeks, 2 weeks head start. Although that worked out fine too, but it'll be good. I have a lot of things I have up my sleeve. Anywho, are you
Right,
there?
I am. I'm just trying to think of a. I've got a good start. I've got a good beginning.
You do?
I think so.
Okay. Here we go.
Are you ready?
Nope. But I'll brace myself.
Okay. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a family, just husband and wife, a little girl called Sarah. Sarah was about 12 years old, and she just fell over. She just fell off a desk. Sarah was drunk.
At 12?
I don't know, it was a huge bang. I don't know how we're going to write that in. Didn't know we were doing sound effects. Anyway.
Artsy.
What was that?
What?
Please, people that are listening, was there not a huge bang? Did you not hear that? Are you still there? Trace? Hello? Earth to Tracy.
May I speak?
What is going on?
Just keep going, Rob.
What's happened?
Nothing, just keep going.
With the story or panicking? Which one do you want me to carry on?
What's the story? I'm having to deal with my dog at the same time.
Well, that's all you had to say. Anyway, she lived in this little cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely nothing for miles and miles around. Beautiful little cabin. Very self-sufficient family. Used to get everything they needed from the woods and from the surrounding land. And this one day, it had been a weird evening. Very, very strange evening. And the sun had gone really low down behind the clouds. As the sun went down, it became really pinky sky, and something didn't feel right, and Mum and Dad were acting strange. And it's over to you if you finish with your dog.
Does this girl have a name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Well, that was a long little bit right there. So.
We kept telling me to carry on.
Anyway, okay. Sarah's mother and father were looking at her oddly, and their conversation to her was not like usual. There was something different. Sarah couldn't put her finger on it. Her dad asked Sarah to run out to their tool shed and asked her to bring in his skinning knife. So, as Sarah stepped out onto the stairs of their home, it creaked under her feet. The wind was blowing through the trees. It was cloudy, barely a star could be seen, but the moon was full. She walked quickly to the storage shed and brought back the knife that her dad would usually take for hunting. And when she headed back into the house, she heard her parents whispering. And Sarah wasn't somebody who would normally eavesdrop on her parents. But because her behavior had been so odd, she stood outside. She could barely catch a word other than, "Tonight, finally, old enough." There you go. Off to you.
Thanks for that. Anyway, so Sarah started to wonder what she was hearing. So her young mind she started to panic. So she started to run through the woods, through the forest, running as fast as she could. She wondered how long it would be before she was actually missed, and how far she could get before they started to run after her. Run as fast as she could, until she came across this clearing in the woods, in the forest. There was this area that she'd never seen before, and she'd been everywhere around the woods. Well, at least she thought she had. Then all of a sudden she saw this space surrounded by trees. Nothing else was growing there. Over to you.
She ran about a foot into the clearing and stopped suddenly. No stars, just the brightness of the moon lighting up this circle. She didn't understand why it was there, when it was put there. Soon she was startled by a hand on her shoulder. And she became stiff, and she heard a voice. Hello, sweetheart. She turned around. She recognized the voice immediately. Papa, hello. Her grandfather was standing there. He had his overalls on, a long, thick beard, his hair long, gray, pulled back into a ponytail. His fingernails dirty, unkempt, a little too long. He smelled of cigar smoke. What are you doing out here? He asked her. And she grabbed onto his hand. Papa, my mom and dad are whispering about me, I think. And it scared me. Papa looked at her. He got down on one knee. And he said, there's nothing to be afraid of, Sarah. There's nothing to be afraid of. And behind him stood his wife, Mama. Silver and black hair, also long. She wore it down over her shoulders. Over to you.
Then all of a sudden, Sarah started to get this terrible pain all over her body. And for some reason, she felt that she needed to run again. She ran into the centre of this clearing. And when she reached the centre, she stopped running. And she felt her body start to change. She felt her hands go really tight. And her nails started to grow really long. The same with her feet. Over to you.
She didn't understand what was happening. Her skin was glowing from the sun, from the moon. She was able to smell the earth beneath her feet. She was able to smell the rabbits, the deer. Her eyes could see so clearly. She turned around towards her grandparents. Their eyes seemed to glow in the light of the moon. A blue light coming back at her from their eyes. And the pain started again. And her arms ached. Her elbows ached. As her arms seemed to grow, it almost felt as though her bones were breaking inside of her body, just underneath her skin, ripping her clothes. Back to you.
Oh dear. I didn't think this was going to turn into a competition, but it has somehow.
It has. Oh,
A competition which I'm losing.
this is. I'm just doing what I always do.
Exactly. Competition which I'm losing. Well, anyway, the next thing that Sarah knew was waking up in her bed as normal and hearing her mum and dad doing normal things, making breakfast. And the next thing, she went to jump out of bed and she noticed that the sheets around where her feet are were all dirty and muddy and very unclean. And she sort of could remember bits and pieces from the night before, but she couldn't quite remember. Over to you.
As she put her feet on the floor in her bedroom, they touched the cold wood. She felt different somehow. Her body felt almost like it wasn't hers. She looked at her arms. She lifted her nightgown, looked at her legs and her knees. They seemed like hers, but she felt so different. So she opened her bedroom door. As it creaked, her mother turned around. With a huge smile, she swooped down and picked her up. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. Her father came over with his gruff voice and his shaggy beard and said, Good morning, my girl. Good morning. How did you sleep? Back to you.
Oh my
What?
God. I didn't talk myself into this. How was I able to be talked into doing this? But anyway.
What? Am I doing a bad job?
I know you're doing a brilliant job. It's me that's doing the bad job. Anyway. Anyway, they all lived happily ever after. Yeah, I think we took that as far as we can.
Oh,
Leave it for
okay.
the listeners to see if they can work out where we were going with that one.
Okay. But I thought that was a good one.
It's usually and then the wood felt cold between her feet and all that.
I'm
And
sorry.
I'm like, she gets out of bed and that's it.
The end. I don't know. I just used to adding the details.
Yeah.
All
Anyway,
right. Well, that can be our last one. It
we'll
was
do one more.
good.
I,
I thought this was a fun one. Could
I
do
think
one more.
maybe we could do
Oh.
one more. We'll do one more, but you can start it.
Oh
I think
God. Okay.
what we need to do in future
Okay.
is have
Okay.
some kind of sort of set things we have to get to, for each of us. And then we know it can be steered in a certain way then.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I never do that. So the fact that it ends up wherever it ends up. I like that part. I like that even when I'm writing a story, it turns out literally that I'll tell my husband, I'm gonna write the story. This is the person. This is the plot. This is how it ends. This is the twist. Wah ha ha ha. And then the next day I'll be like, yeah, that story totally didn't happen. Completely different story. My brain sort of like writes it. So the fact that we're going two different, like if we're having two different visions, or even if we're having the same vision of where this is going, the fact that it's two different views of it, or like your side and my side, I like that. It's unexpected and it's not
Yeah.
boring. I
It's
think
just
that's
your
enough for today.
okay.
It's just that what?
So just obviously you're better at it than me.
Well, I've heard you though. I've heard you write stories and you do very well. You know what though? I've been doing this for 4 years online, but I've been writing my whole life. So kind of comes as I always made up stories and I would babysit kids and like terrify them and just a little bit for God's sakes. No need to call the police. There wasn't really anybody calling us from inside the house. It's a joke.
You see that I'm
Well, we
doing
can
it.
do another one if you want.
Yeah, we're doing another one. See,
Okay.
I see you're using your imagination.
Hmm.
I'm using every single horror film that I've ever seen.
I don't watch horror films. Maybe that's the difference.
See, like the werewolf one, that
Uh-huh.
was along the lines of um, uh,
Yeah, the shiny ones.
no, it's done the British Army one.
Oh,
The dog, what's it called? There's some British.
there's a British Army werewolf movie.
Yeah, it's really really good.
Oh,
Um, Dog soldiers.
ah,
It's really and the bit I like about it is the fact that they they're out on exercise basically.
hmm.
It's really really true to life, and it's the
Hmm.
only one I've ever seen, the only film I've ever seen where it is very very. They must have gone out on exercise with these actors with normal squaddies
Hmm.
because it is so much. It's so accurate about the banter and about everything. It's just Dog Soldiers. It's called. It's really. Um, it's very good. Might be worth
Hmm.
you
I
trying
think
to
I've
get
never
hold
heard
of.
of it.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
is good. It's not dead gory, but
Hmm.
it's so that was my thinking for that, and obviously the clearing in the woods. You must have that was Ghost Adventures, obviously,
Oh. Oh,
because
of
of the
course. So, I thought the clearing in the woods was, the one with the shiny, sparkly vampires.
Twilight.
Twilight, because they had a war thing, and there was a clearing in the woods, and I guess I thought maybe you were going towards there.
No, it was to do with the. Well, obviously, you know that I've got to get Ghost Adventures in
Well,
every
yes, of
single
course.
podcast.
Yes, if they would just sponsor us,
That'd be
that would
good.
be nice.
Talking about, I was thinking when I saw they started a new series, Ghost Adventures. I was thinking about you because they're going.
That was weird.
Well, if you let me finish, I will explain.
Wow. Do you guys hear how he treats me? You should hear the things he says to me when we're not in front of people.
Okay, they're going round to places. They're starting off with, um, do you remember the serial killer dressed as a clown?
Yes.
Gacy.
Yeah.
They're starting off going to where he lived, and they're going around all the infamous serial killer places in America
Ooh.
and doing a live show from there.
Ooh.
A ghost show, a ghost hunters show from there to
Ooh,
see
I
if they
like.
can pick up. So that's the reason I thought of you, because I thought you would find it really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That would be very interesting. Hmm. Well, I'll have to check that one out. Well, we can stop now for stories. I think I think that two was good.
Be interested to see what people think.
Yeah. Do you think we should do this more often? Go ahead and tell us. Be honest. You can be like, shred this, burn it, nuke it, or well, Tracia should maybe shut up. Apparently. Mm.
Oh, I just think I feel very conscious. I'm not as comfortable as you uh, make making it to be putting the details in
Mhm.
as you are, because I'm scared of sounding silly.
Right.
It's like
Right. Well,
acting,
don't
isn't
be.
it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, next time we do this, if people want us to do this, um, just practice between now and then. Maybe we could do another one next time.
Yeah.
We're also gonna do H. Holmes coming up
Oh yeah.
because that guy is a wackadoodle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be one. I think it's our next one, isn't it? That one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, that's next on the agenda.
Agenda.
I have a missing persons one coming next.
What a real life one.
Yes.
Oh right. Okay. Obviously, real life one.
Yeah. That's very interesting. The more I do the missing people ones, the more it's confusing.
And what do you mean? Well, it's confusing.
I think it's just really confusing, like um, how in this day and age, I like to concentrate on the newer ones. Well, the older ones are interesting too. They're not interesting isn't the right word. I I don't want to be like, oh, it's so entertaining. It's just how someone can completely disappear without a trace, and especially in this day and age where everybody has phones and people are taking selfies, how you aren't caught in somebody's selfie, or and it's just I just think that there's something strange afoot, and I don't know what. I just think that whether it be serial killer or something paranormal, it's it's easy to go missing in the national park, and 5 days later, well, let's issue you a death certificate. What? Hey, did you ever hear the story about that German family that got lost in Death Valley? I think it was. It's pretty famous as far as missing people go.
No, I haven't. I was just thinking about something to do with when you were talking about I haven't heard about the German family that goes missing, but I would be interested to hear it. If you want to
Well,
tell us?
there's a guy with a YouTube channel who found the family. I mean, they're they were lost in Death Valley. It's years ago, so you're not coming out. But and then so he located what had happened to them, found out what had happened to them. So it made me be like to think that the YouTube channels do when they do cover these things, they do put a spotlight, they do show the faces. Thousands of more people see people who have gone missing, and I think the more people that see their faces, the better.
Yeah.
Because maybe some of them just. Am I boring you?
Oh, love, it's because it's early. So I apologise. Sorry.
Some of them, I know that some people go missing, quote unquote, on purpose. But when you have family, loved ones who care about you, if somebody saw that guy walking down the street and could even say, hey, I've seen your picture, let their family know that they're okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For that, but um, there's so many people that go missing in Joshua Tree National Park that this story it's an hour long, and I trimmed off so much. So hopefully everybody will like it. I liked doing that 2-part story about the serial killer in El Paso.
Yeah. It's
I
just,
found that to be interesting.
just when you actually start thinking about the, I mean, I've said that everybody who listens to the channel will know what I'm going to say. When you start to look at figures of children and young people that go missing in America
Mhm.
every year, every day,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's just frightening.
That's unbelievable.
Really, really
That's
frightening.
yeah. So I hope that I I I don't like to use the word I like to do those stories. I enjoy to do the stories or whatever. I just think that it's very interesting. It's very attention needs to be brought to this type of topic because I really don't think that anybody, nobody but us guys sitting here and listening to these stories and and what's his name 411. Why can't I remember his name? I do
Mike,
not know.
is it Mike Pelogia or something?
Uh, no, it's whatever. Somebody's gonna tell me. Believe me, somebody's gonna put it down here. Oh, it's oh my goodness, it's in my head. The point of the story is, if people weren't doing stories about this, if he hadn't started going, hey, something seems weird, Pilates, Pilates, something
Yeah.
Pilates, um,
Excuse me.
then other people and me, I didn't know. So I think it is interesting to bring other people's attention to it because I can tell you where I'm not going. National parks, not camping, not alone for sure. But it doesn't even matter if you're alone or not.
It's amazing that people still go.
I know. But I would venture to guess that the majority of this country has no idea. I think this is a niche thing that people know about. I would say the majority of people, well-educated people, they just don't know about it. So they go in completely unaware. And I do think that there's a link to serial killers. I I I don't know what else, but I do find it strange that the bodies, when they do show up, they show up where thousands of search hours have already been conducted and hundreds of people have walked through. And then a year later, 2 years later, oop, boom, there you are.
Crazy.
So anyway, all right, Rob, thank you for doing this with me.
Not at all.
Are you what? You sound like you're falling asleep.
No, I'm just really blocked up because I hit um, allergies. Just got really emotional then about for some I don't know why. Well, when you were talking about the missing people, I don't know, just really struck a
Mm-hmm.
chord.
Hmm.
So I don't know. So I apologise if I sound a bit weird.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm used to it, but
I just don't understand how people can still go to these places. I know he said we not everybody knows about the amount of missing persons, um, and I think about myself being lost in when I was in the army, and we when we were on exercise in the army, we would have a pickup point, and it would be a grid reference. And if we weren't exactly on the grid reference, even when the um, helicopters came in to pick us up, if even if they could see us
mm-hmm.
and we weren't exactly on the right grid, it would leave us. We'd have to make
Mm-hmm.
our way on foot back to wherever we needed to get back to.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember being lost. All of us, a small group, maybe 10 or 12 of us, we misread the grid route. Whoever was doing the map reading had misread it, and we saw this chopper coming in this day, and we thought, thank goodness for that. And it came in, and it circled, and it flew away, and it left us. We didn't have anything. All we had was our rifles, and our ammunition, and a bit of survival stuff, food and stuff like that. And we had to
Mm-hmm.
make our way back to camp,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in the UK.
Wow.
And it seemed like we were in the middle of nowhere. I can't even begin to. I know I've said this to you loads of times. Some of your some of your national parks are the same size as the UK,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and, and bigger than the UK. And I can't even begin to imagine being lost there, and even having experience of being able to read a map and having a compass with you.
Mm-hmm.
It must be completely daunting, absolutely
Yeah.
daunting. Excuse me.
Yeah, I would think so. Well, let's not go. Let's go to New England
Yeah. Excuse
and
me.
go to
Sorry.
the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
We'll tie a rope between you and me, around our waist, and then if one of us gets abducted, the other one's just gonna have to go with us.
Yeah.
Or I can untie a knot pretty fast.
Thanks.
All right, you guys, thank you for coming here. Please give this video a thumbs up, even though I think Rob's gonna actually go give it a thumbs down. Um, if you are not subscribed, please do so. It really helps my channel. And you guys, I appreciate that you are hearing me say that because on my analytics, the rate of subscription is to non-subscribed listeners is changing very much, and I appreciate that. Um, and like I said, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead. It's totally free, and why wouldn't you? And share with family, friends, give it as a gift, whatever. And ring that bell if you'd like to be notified when my content goes up. And again, thank you to you guys for supporting me in this channel and Rob over there, so we can go on this trip. It's gonna be so exciting. You're gonna see a whole new side of Rob. He runs away. I'll save him. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll save him. All
All
right,
right.
and thank you, and good night. Good night, Rob.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.